Hundreds of displaced Syrians have been blocked from returning home. Protesters took to the streets earlier this week demanding they be allowed to return home. Around 1 million people were displaced earlier this year during a government offensive in a rebel-held region. A ceasefire has been reached. However, Turkish forces remain, and Turkey is not allowing anyone to return. Alessandro Monteduro is director of Aid to the Church in Need in Italy. His organization helps persecuted Christians around the world, including in Syria. And he joins us now from his home in Salento. Alessandro, welcome back to the show. Can you give us an update on what's going on in Syria? And is there a timetable when the displaced people will be allowed to return home?
It's very difficult to give an update or at the same time, I can't spread an optimistic message because the war in Syria is unfortunately still present, in spite of the indifference of the Western countries, in spite of the indifference of the international media. Unfortunately, in the northeastern area of the country, the fighting are prosecuting. And without the end of the war, it isn't possible to imagine also the return, the comeback of the people who were obliged in these years of war to leave country.
Alessandro, can you talk about how this is affecting Syrian Christians?
It's always the same problem because obviously all the Syrian population is suffering for the effects of war, but Christians and all the people who belong at the religious minority are suffering twice because not only are suffering the poverty, but suffered and now are in grave need also because they are not persecuted, because we can't talk about persecution in Syria, but a situation of discrimination also related to the economic impact, for instance, of the pandemic, is always present for the Christians in areas like the Middle East or also in other countries. And so this is the reason for which now we are engaged trying to expand our aid program for them.
Alessandro, you mentioned that your group is helping. Can you talk a little bit more about what exactly you're doing?
At this moment, Aid to the Church in Need International, I want to remember at our viewers like Aid to the Church in Need is a pontifical foundation, is a pastoral charity, is helping the Christians in Syria with over 100 projects, small and bigger. And this is the moment in which, for the Syrian population, for the Christians, we are trying to increase our contribution, because not only the war, not only the effects of the economic sanctions of the embargo, I want to precise, unbearable and unacceptable, this kind of effects, but also the effect of pandemic. And so as a result, we decided past week to help over half, with over €500,000, more than 20,000 families, Syrian families. It's the way for us to help them to buy and to receive basket food, to receive masks of protection, to receive hygiene items, to receive also sanitizers, elements, products. It's the way, it's the contribution of the Aid to the Church in Need to give them an opportunity to survive.
Well, Alessandro, thank you for your time today and all that you do. We appreciate it. Alessandro Monteduro, Director of Aid to the Church in Need in Italy. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot.